You're live. Good evening, YouTube. So I thought I'd do a quick video here to show kind of some of my steps in designing a knife. I'm getting ready to go teach a class in North Dakota, and part of that class I had the students design a knife so that when I get there to teach the class, we're ready to go. And once you design the knife on paper, go ahead and cut it out, transfer it to some cardstock or something, and make sure that you like the design. That way you can get a feel for the knife and know for sure that you like the design. Because a lot of times you might design something on paper, but then when you get it into metal or into a template and you hold it in your hands, you really find out what you do or don't like. Hey, you know what I noticed? My bald head's shining, and somebody said that was distracting in one of my other videos. Well, I guess it's just too bad. I'm a professional knife maker and amateur YouTuber. Sweet. All right, so this is one of my students' design, and I'm going to, now if I design, once I design a knife, I tweak it and I look at the knife, and a little bit changes a whole lot about the design. And so I'm looking at this design and I think, well, I don't really like that transition there. And I'll come and just kind of sketch in, change it roughly. So what I'm looking at is this point looks like it drops down too abruptly. And so I'll come in and I'll make that line really thick. And I'll get it where I think I like it. Then I'll go back and I'll erase some of it. And I might do that 2 or 3 times until I get those lines where I really like them. And then once I have the design where I feel like it's what I'm looking for, I might go ahead and glue this to like a cereal box or some. I like the thin cardboard. The corrugated stuff is okay. Or I'll even transfer it to like some Kydex or some plexiglass. But you want to transfer it to something fairly solid. And then you can cut and shape it. If you have a knife grinder like I do, you can take it to the grinder and grind it down just like you would the steel until you get the shape that you're looking for. And then you can see if you want to make some more revisions to your design. Because what we're going to do is once we have that design where we like it, we're going to use that as our template. We're going to put some die chem on the steel. We're going to clamp or attach our template to the steel. And then we're going to scribe straight from that template to our steel. And then we can go about cutting it out. All right, so there's the design. And I want to check it and see. So if I've got this finger choil there because I want to, hold it there, I can see how that fits my hand. Now this is for a kid actually, for a child, not a child, a young lady. So her hand's going to be smaller than mine, and it will probably fit quite nicely. But from this process, from this stage, if I don't like the way it feels or I want to change something, it's easy to do and it's inexpensive versus making that out of steel and finding out that you don't like it. So if you guys have any tips on how you design knives or what process you go through, or if you do this similar step. I'd love to hear how you guys do it. This is another knife that's guy wants to build for the class or something similar. I think there's going to be some changes to this design still, but that's what I do. Wondering what you think about making a knife out of a saw blade. Well, I think it's perfectly fine. So I get asked a lot of times about saw blades or railroad spikes, any of those things. I personally don't use recycled steel. Not saying that I wouldn't, but for selling knives to the public, I like to work with known steels. Also, a lot of time and energy goes into making a knife, so I feel like the cost of the steel is a very small part of what's involved in making a knife. And I think it's great for a beginner to practice with inexpensive material or free material. But I think if you want to make anything that you want to pass down or keep for a long time, it's worth just going ahead and spending the money and buying some quality steel. And that don't mean that you have to buy some of the super steel or anything by any means, but 01 is super cheap. There's some other of your basic steels that are very inexpensive. I have a dull saw blade I'd like to make. Okay, let me see. Wish I could see comments better. The other thing about, I have a dull saw blade, I'd like to make a wood marker out of it, not looking for, yeah. So I'd go ahead and do it. The other thing to remember too is I don't know what saw blades are made out of, like all of them. Especially, I'm not sure of the steel. So sometimes the teeth, are just like carbide tooth. I'm not sure if the steel on the actual blade is the best for using, but I have some small scrap too that if you were looking for it, I could probably send you some small scrap of some good steel. You could play with that. Let me see what other comments we have. What's up, buddy? Common sense. How's it going? Dude, I have one of your knives. Love it. It needs to be sharpened again. Well, sharpen it. Or send it to me. I'll sharpen it for you. Shoot me a DM or something. So anyways, I'd like to do some more live videos here in the future. Give you guys a little bit more of an update, heads up of when I'm going to do that. Thankfully now I have a place with a good connection that I can do live feeds. So if you'd like to see some more of them or some question and answers, shoot me your ideas, what you'd like to talk about, and we'll do this again. So thanks for taking time to watch this, and we'll see you next time. Hey, what's up, Blade Guru? Good to see you on here. Catch you guys later. I'm going to go spend some time with the family. Have a good night.